Now, right, which means what we're going to do is I'm on first. I'm going to walk back there. I'm going to walk back on here. And everyone's going to clap and cheer enthusiastically like you're at an actual comedy gig, right? Even the bloke at the bar is still on his phone. Everyone's going to do this, right? No matter what, okay? Let's try this. Right! Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage your, well, not really our host, your first act this evening, Jim Smallman. Good. I'm going to lose my voice by the end of this 20 minutes, so there's a few things we have to cover first that are basic health and safety things, okay? I have to do this. It's like being an air stewardess, but less attractive. Welcome to Comedy in the Dark. You are, just give me a cheer if you weren't aware. Look, I did that there. You did that thing where you ducked down as if I wouldn't notice it, right? Give me a cheer if you weren't aware that this is going to be in the dark at some point. Good. You passed test number 1, right? Now, when the lights go out, I have to tell you this, and you've probably all been told it already, if the lights go out and you start panicking, you're not feeling great, and you want us to put the lights back on, let's hope this doesn't happen, but it might, right? If this happens, you have to shout the word telephone. What we're going to do, because the lights are on, and it's not going to confuse anyone near a light switch, right? We're all going to shout it on the count of 3. Everybody's going to shout telephone, so I know you can all do it. You, sir, are looking at me like this is the hardest thing anyone can do. Right? On the count of 3, everyone shout telephone. 1, 2, 3. Telephone. Well done, the lady there who did it 2 seconds after everybody else. Let's do it again. We're doing a slightly more high-pitched voice. 1, 2, 3. Well done. Deeper this time. 1, 2, 3. Which one I prefer? Even deeper. So Barry White would be embarrassed. 1, 2, 3. We're not doing any jokes. This is way more fun. There's various other things I have to do. I have to obviously thank the nice people at the Belmont for letting us put this on. Let's give them a round of applause. And the nice people at the Comedy Festival who organised this round of applause as well. Of course, this is what it's all about. I will point to it with my torch. There we go. Big switch off. So obviously a big round of applause for that. It's a fantastic campaign going now. In a bit we will be in the dark, right? The other thing I have to do is I have to give away a torch, right, in a minute. It's a wind-up torch. It's like a grand, this is like bullseye, but with a good prize, right? Seriously. Right? Everyone, this is the prize. Everyone be excited now. Go, woo! Never before have people gone woo when I've lunched. Well, there's blokes at the back going, stop doing it now, it's not funny. This is the wind-up torch. I'm going to give this away as a competition prize, right? And we tried to come up with a question, and we realised there's a fair few people in this room, and it's difficult to do a quiz in this way. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to set you a question. First person to shout out the correct answer gets given this torch. Attention now. You're sat there with your 2 glasses of wine, love, going, You bought her out on a date?
First time we've been out together, yeah.
Is it? Is that why you bought 2 glasses of wine?
Yeah.
Okay, the question is going to be...
Margaret Thatcher.
I'm desperately trying to think what the question could have been. I work for the BBC, I'm meant to be politically impartial, so I won't answer that one. Right, okay, the question is, how many letters are in the word environment?
8.
9.
11.
Who said 11?
11.
Right, lady in the back, round of applause for you. I will give you the box in a bit as well, so you can wrap it up and give it to someone else as a present, if that's what you so choose to do. Hey, I'll probably talk about me for a brief second. My name's Jim Smallman. I'm a comedian. I am from Leicester originally. I now don't live in Leicester. I live in a beautiful part of the world. I mean, you might have heard of it. It's called Hinckley. Anyone ever heard of it? Yeah. Anyone ever been there? Yeah. Why?
Got lost.
You got lost. That's the best reason to go. You bear in mind, my friends, that I do this job for a living. I have to go around the country and tell people what sort of town Hinckley is. The most effective way I've managed to do this so far is to tell people that Hinckley is a typical East Midlands market town, and that it is one of those places where people do still genuinely point at aeroplanes. It is absolutely horrific, right? I used to work in a school there. I worked at the same school that I went to and did my GCSEs and A-levels in. I don't know, just for show of hands, put your hand up if you work in education in any way. The lady I've just given the torch to, what do you do?
I'm a primary teacher.
You're a primary school teacher. You're only proper teachers. The dude at the back who put his hand up there briefly then. Are you a proper teacher, my friend?
Secondary.
Secondary, that'll do. What age do you teach?
11 to 16.
11 to 16. They're the fun years, aren't they, my friend? How long have you been doing it?
5 years.
What subject do you teach? English. Good choice, right? I worked as an English teaching assistant. I don't know if you can back me up on this, fella, but the first day I worked in the school, no one prepared me for this. The most amusing thing kids could do is to try and figure out what your first name is. Did this happen to you? Yeah. Right, I went in my first day, I'm wearing a name badge that says Mr. J. Smallman on it, right? I feel this makes it quite self-explanatory. My name is Mr. Smallman. I go into my first lesson, all these kids are there going, "Sir! What's your real name?" I'm like, "Look, I can't tell you." They go, "Seriously, tell us what's your real name." And every single lesson I went into, they would insist on doing this, right? I'll be honest with you, my friends, it got a bit tiresome, but there's a massive part of me that likes messing around with kids, right? Not like that, they want to give me a job in school, right? So I thought what I would do is I'd play a game with them. There's one lad called Lewis, he would not stop hassling me about what my first name was. So one day I just snapped and I went, "Lewis, we're going to do this. What we're going to do is, you are going to try and guess what my first name is, and if you can guess what my first name is, then I will let you call me by that first name for the rest of this lesson." His little face lit up and went, "Really?" And I went, "Yes." Remember, here's your clue, Mr. J. Smallman. I walked away from his desk, and little 15-year-old Lewis immediately popped up out of his seat and genuinely went, "Dave!" Like that, right? So I'm not going to lie to you, in Hinckley, they are not that fucking bright, right? Yeah. None of the kids are so thick, none of the kids could actually guess that my name was Jim, or even the longer version, James, right? So what I realised I could do is I could get different teaching colleagues to come into lessons and call me by different names, beginning with J, and what would happen is all the kids would look at each other and go, "That's his name," right? For a whole week, I managed to convince 500 15-year-old children that my name was somehow Juande. On the back of that, me and another teaching colleague decided we should perhaps try and actually educate them a little bit, so we gave them another little educational sort of clue. Now, the hint that my teaching colleague decided to give them was, bearing in mind my name is Jim, I've shortened my name from James. James was one of the disciples. The clue she chose to give these kids was to walk into a lesson one day and go, "Hello kids, I know you're all trying to guess what Mr. Smallman's first name is. Let me give you a clue. His name begins with J and it features quite prominently in the Bible." Obviously what happened here was I was immediately proclaimed as the second coming by all these kids just going, "Jesus!" Best part of this story, there's one lad called Ian, he's dead sensible, he's sat at the front of the class with a massive frown on his face, right? He turns around to all the other kids and goes, "Come on you lot, he's obviously not called Jesus, it's Judas." I just went with it, it just seemed like the easiest thing to do. Now before we switch the lights off, I need to point out some things about my sort of personal characteristics. You may have gathered I've got quite a lot of tattoos. Just by show of hand, put your hand up if you've got a tattoo. I know what yours is, Rob, so I'm not going to ask you. My bearded friend here, what tattoo have you got? You have the Triforce and she's over it. Yeah, well, I feel I've made a friend now, right? This is good, because not you've done what I've done, and you've gone for something slightly off the wall. Who else? Put your hand up again. Who else has got a tattoo? Lady there, what have you got?
I've got rose.
You've got a rose. You see, you've done something aesthetically pleasing. That's the main thing to do, right? Because normally, when people get a tattoo, they will go for something that is either aesthetically pleasing or tremendously deep and meaningful and significant to them. But every now and again, for every one person who's gone with those reasons to get a tattoo, there is always one idiot who's gone with something, frankly, a bit retarded. I can prove this within one human being. You see, I am a reformed alcoholic, my friends. On the outside of my arm there is an Oscar Wilde quote. It says, I can resist everything except temptation. It's to remind me not to misbehave and not to give in to certain temptations. That means a lot to me. That's the most important quote in my life. However, I managed to balance out that amazingly sensible tattoo within exactly the same arm by on the other side of that arm having Blinky the red Pac-Man ghost.